Alright, so next review. Today I wanted to do 3 shoots in one time because models are stacking up in the living room and I really need to get through them, or else my wife will also think the collection is moving downstairs and not instead of upstairs. So yeah, with no further ado, A4 Skyhawk lizard scheme from New Zealand. Personally one of my favorite schemes right now. Darker camouflage is really cool. But no further ado, let's go into it. So box, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, if not watched that one yet, I'm gonna re-announce it. Boxes became quite standard down the timeline, so mainly they just add a sticker front and back to indicate like which model it is exactly. This one you don't need anymore, that was enough pain, I think. Model itself, nicely packaged. Basic information on the inside, really cool. Box is further a standard for this type. Let's take the model out and see what we got. I haven't unpackaged a new one yet from the Skyhawks. Mainly all my Skyhawks are used. By the way, I like to buy used models, mainly for the pricing, because it is an expensive hobby. I believe this one was roughly 90 euros, or no, 80 euros with a little bit of discount that I got. But in general, a very expensive hobby. Cool hobby, but expensive. Model itself, also here again, formed plastic, hot plastic. Even enough space to put bombs in there. They mainly did this, I think, so it doesn't collapse. So when there's pressure on the boxes during shipping, which is really sturdy and really good. All the parts are on the inside, so bombs and tanks and all that, and rockets, they were separated in the back. Inside, the stand is also glued in there. There's nothing you can say bad about this. I always remove the tapes, but I try to keep as many of the parts as I can. Let's remove these tapes. So wheels. This one is going to be displayed also on a stand. So I'm going to just show you guys the wheels. They are super easy to install. What I remember, even used, they quite last long. Plastic is really thick and sturdy. No complaints on this stuff. This is really good. Even used, actually. And again, I'm misguessing that it sounds a bit like metal again, but I'm not 100% sure anymore. I know that the wheels are rotating. Parts are well packaged. Nicely sorted out, nicely formed. Wheels, same story, and the same goes for the stand. This one is also going to be displayed on stand. The plane itself, let's see if I can get you guys a little bit closer. I'll do a close-up shot after this also, of course, but metal, mainly all out. Nose is plastic, canopy of course, plastic. Small bits and parts. The flaps, plastic. And metal, of course. And I believe the frame is literally like this, molded together. There are little screws. I disassembled one from the Marines a few years back, just to see how was it put together. But really interesting to see that. But I have to say, in general, there are some weak points, unfortunately. Where you put the landing gear out, these plastics are really thin and skinny. Again, I'll use some white hobby glue when you want to install those wheels into it. And they need it. Sometimes they also snap. Take your time with it, please. Getting spare parts for these planes is a nightmare. HobbyMaster doesn't send much out these days. Some people are lucky. I was one of those lucky guys that gets parts every once in a while. But in general, super hard to get parts for these things. So be careful. Well, let's see what parts do we get for in-flight mode. So the easiest what I've seen so far, just cut open the bags from the sides. I don't keep these. I normally use like little Ziploc bags afterwards. Let's put all the parts on the table so we can go over them. It's a shit ton of parts. Bag empty. Fuel tank and fuel tanks for the wings. Really cool, detailed, and the camouflage of the plane. nicely made, hardly any forming you can see, especially in this side. Well done, some burring here, but not too bad, not too shabby. Pins again, really skinny, really easy to break. Be careful with this, please. I've snapped some planes and it's not funny to do. What else is funny about it, right? All right, missiles, air to air. I believe these are the Mavericks. Nice to see them on a A4. Again, look, different colors. For one side of the wing is a bit darker and the other one is a bit lighter. Central fuel tank. You cannot install this one on flight mode, unfortunately. I wish they would make a little slot like they did with the MiG-23s and so on. There's a slot to put the stand through it. Personally like that a little bit better. Now it's a useless part. Guided bombs. Really cool. Of course, a mini pilot. Well painted. Then there is the folders, or the wheel arch flaps. You'll need to learn the English word for that one, but we'll get to that. But again, detail on paint. So one for the left, one for the right. Front door closed. Now coming to that sensitive part. This is the front door landing gear. And as you can see, it's all little pins and holes. Gently push these things in there. They snap off easily, and I hope not in this video. But these are like those sensitive parts that if you even push them by accident, they snap off. So take your time when installing this type of stuff. Same goes for the hatches that I told you for the rear wheels. Little thin plastic sheets. They usually they push in quite easily. But if not, just take your time. But again, this is a bit sturdier than the front, but still, I see a lot of planes when buying used that have these snapped off. So really, take your time with that. But luckily we're going in flight mode, so that saves me a ton of time. So claps, flaps, however you want to call them, they go in quite easily. Lining, usually they stick out a little bit. It's not bad. You just need to give them a gentle tap down so that they can become more smooth. And I have seen some cases where you need to sand down parts. Personally, don't like to do that, but if it's really needed to make it look clean and good, yeah, we'll do that, of course. So both flaps in. And then the front one. This one is a bit more tricky, I remember. Especially getting it in straight and not under an angle so that it's sitting wrongly. And also watch out that you don't push too hard in the middle, probably will snap that cap also. So this is how it looks, completely in flight mode. We'll get to the details in a second with the camera in hand, had to go over the details on the plane. So let's build up the stand for now. Now this stand also, it's roughly the same type of base as all HobbyMasters have, especially the smaller ones. So plastic, nope. And then of course the base part. So the base part is nicely formed over. It goes into the screw hole and has nice little arms to hold on the back and the front of the plane. So it holds it nice and snug. It only goes on in one way. But in general, always a nice looking type of stand. I think I had it on the wrong way, by the way. So even I that put these things together a couple of times now on a video make that mistake. So it should be like this. Hey, sometimes you have to try it twice. That's it on a stand. Actually, I need to get it back a bit further. So on a stand. Now to put the bombs and all the tanks on it. For this one, I'm not sure yet what setup I'm gonna go. Because I actually like all weapons. I don't yet have the guided ground attack missiles. but also not the JDAMs. Tough choice, tough choice. I do want gas tanks under it. So we're gonna first go with the tanks. I'm not sure yet which one goes where. Let me check. So with this one, they didn't go really through the details, like to make them a bit more stand out. So that's a bit of a shame. But I think that even the real ones have that. So you heard a little pop. I hope you can hear it on the camera, on the microphone. But as you can see, getting these things in is hard and not easy. And I have to put quite some pressure on them. But once they're in, and they're sturdy on there. So we'll go with the missile kits. The light one goes on the other end. So they paid attention with the missiles at least, so that's really cool. And with this one, they made it a bit darker to match the wing. So this is how it looks on my setup at least. So let me take you guys a little bit on a closer look on. So a bit of a more close-up look on this plane. Canopy has a little latch on the front, so it clicks under the glass, which is really cool. A little Kiwi logo from New Zealand, really cool. I don't know if it's supposed to be under this angle. I don't know if they did that correctly. Because if you look on this side here, let me get my finger on the screen. It's downwards and this one is going sideways. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Need to check that with the real plane in a second, but maybe somebody in comments can tell me. But in general, really well detailed again. Again, had the tank probe, really sensitive part on these planes. But in general, a really nice looking, cool little plane. As I mentioned, the details on the camouflage, really cool. So, happy, nice purchase, really cool. Extra one to my set. Yeah, again, thank you for watching all.